Just round people up at the behest of Ice. So, do you see what the Eagles are doing? Talking about how we needed to remain in Jurassic Park. They have break battles and car shows and now we're working on our next podcast.
Right here.
That I was the first one to record Darnell. Hey, I'm not everybody in their mama. We need it. I know,
What up, everybody? It is the Build and Destroy show. We are back for another one. Today, we got a jam-packed show. Please hit that subscribe button. It don't cost you nothing. Let me bring you in to what we're dealing with today. The full packed house. We still adjusting everyone's screens, but we won't hold you up. Why don't we let Pesha, who's first time coming on the show, part of the Build and Destroy crew, introduce our special guest for today.
All right, sounds good. Well, today with us we have Kristina Malolua, and please tell me if I said that wrong, because every time I say it, I feel like I'm saying it wrong.
Got it.
Yes. Okay. So she has Left Coast Salon, Context.
Uh-oh, we lost her.
Where'd she go?
Mishaps. Let me at least go to our two-person. Oh, that's not gonna work. There we go. We'll at least keep you on here. Well, I think what Pesha was getting into a very honorary intro. I will hold space while she comes on. If you don't know, we are a hip-hop podcast, a group. We started from community activism coming together, and then, kind of evolved into making music together. And now we do this project, this podcast where we talk about hip-hop, but we also have on esteemed guest, the current mayor of Tacoma while he was running, a lot of other different political figures, educators, and so you will not be surprised to our audience to have us talking about legislation and, asking you questions, kind of maybe your background on how you got into, taking things beyond just your career and expertise in your field.
Of course.
Do you think Pesha's...
She said she got booted off. She said she's going to get back on, but so I don't know why she wouldn't be able to, but we can start. I'm sure she'll figure it out. Or should I get off and see if she can get on? Oh, she says it's turning back on. Okay, but we can start, we can ask our first questions and stuff.
Sure.
Well, why don't you just give us a nutshell of the legislation that you helped get on the table in Olympia, and just what it does, and maybe what stage it's in. And
yeah, I can speak directly to that. I did not actually bring House Bill 1874 to the table. So it's the Textured Hair House Bill, and it has been rippling across the United States in different states that have decided that this is something that they're going to try and make an adjustment to at the curriculum level to try and solve some of the issues in our industry. So actually what had happened is the state of Washington got funding to do an audit of their licenses that they I'm sorry, thinking about adding all the licenses that they distribute. So they have to kind of look at them and see what they're doing. So last year, cosmetology came under scrutiny about what's going on and what are we doing. And so the state of Washington is just like, okay, well, a simple improvement that we can do is introduce the textured hair House bill because everyone else is doing it. So what they ended up doing was trying to do an expedited House bill. So they didn't even call a public hearing about it. I actually only heard whispers about it in the background and somebody alerted it to me. So then when I read the document, there's no way that the wording that it was, the way that it was written, actually would have caused harm. If it would have been passed the way that they wrote it would have done absolutely nothing to change it, but the way that they wrote it would have been out of alignment with the national testing standards as they stand right now. So it was not even using the correct wording to match the current test situation. And so we did gather a bunch of signatures and got a bunch of people to write in. And so I started talking about it a lot more. And so because of that, it did draw in, they opened up 3 different, they called them partnership series. And so where they were going to look at a augmentation to the way that the DOL had written it. So the House bill already passed. It passed with flying colors in this like expedited process. But then now the DOL had to look at like what's the implementation of this House bill into practice. And then when they started to just try and push it through, so then that's what they did. They said, okay, well by March 26th, all of the schools in the state of Washington now are required to have textured hair education in their curriculums. But that's not how it works. And so the curriculums are major players nationally, 2 main brands, Milady and Pivot Point, and they speak directly to the National Institute of Cosmetology Instruction, the NIC, and the NIC hires subject matters, and they feed information back and forth with these textbooks, so the textbooks update, and then that information gets passed over to proctored test companies, which the state contracts with to host the tests. So you can't just say, we're going to change this curriculum, you do it now. Because if it's not in the textbooks, then nobody knows how to teach it. And at the beauty school level, the only people who are licensed to teach or to bring this bill about are the instructors. And this is not included in the instructors' requirements. The instructors aren't required to learn this as part of their license. So you further can't ask the schools to do something that their staff isn't technically licensed to do either. So I put this all in front of them in a matter of 3 different meetings. And so after the first meeting, they were open to hearing more what I had to say. This is the DOL at this point in time. Again, they're having to figure out what they have authority over and what they can do. And so after hearing it, they asked for a one-on-one meeting with me, and I spoke with them and I let them know that it's, a lot of people have things to say about this being, it's racially driven or all these other things, but the basic crux is it's missing foundational information in the curriculum for the people in order to serve any basic community at all with hair that has any kind of like texture or pattern present and isn't made to be straight first. So then we go over the House bill together. They put the document on the screen. We're looking at it in this Zoom call. And they're like, no, absolutely. We see here it's written that the DOL has authority to do these changes. In fact, it's, right here it says that whatever we need to do in order to bring about the intent of the bill, which is to offer quality scalp and hair care for all, basic foundational services like dental services. And so, and I've been working on this as a case study, which we didn't get to in the intro, but I've been in the industry for over 25 years or something like that. I can't remember now. I have a really diverse background. I was raised I was born at the old Madigan on what was Fort Lewis and the JBLM. I did my career up at Seattle with Gene Juarez and Gary Manuel, and all of my friends are mixed with something or other. And so lots of different kinds of hair was I exposed to. So all of these things together, a very expensive education. I became an independent contractor and all these other things. So just to say that people continue to ask me the same exact questions all the time. Be like, why don't people know how to do this? Well, it's not taught in schools. Well, why isn't it taught in the schools? Well, because it's not required on the test. Well, why is it not? Well, why is it not? And I'm like, okay, well, it's just simply like it's just not there. So we need to try and figure out a way to make it there. So then in 2017, when I founded Left Coast Salon as a brand, I was doing it with the intent of creating an educational system that could scale, that would start to solve a lot of these problems. for at least hopefully the clients in our community, and then anyone who was interested and licensed and wanted to learn from and with me. And so, but from 2017, it took me to build out my location on in 2021 on 6th Avenue to literally have anyone be interested at all. Like, I was barking up all kinds of trees. I started the Hair Professional Society. I tried to talk to people about this well beforehand because it was a clear educational gap. And nobody was really, it was like saying Black Lives Matter before people had ever heard the term before. And they were like, oh, that's really nice. And that was it. So then I went and did it by myself. And so I've been proving this at the salon level. I opened up Left Coast Salon on 6th Avenue. I created the salon residency program because we don't have, after Jean Juarez died down in our area, the entire mentorship model, the only one that existed, was now gone. And so there was none, unless there were like these private enterprises who were interested in doing these mentorship situations, but they were inconsistent at best, and they were mostly geared, again, around straight hair services. So then I created Contextual Salon Education, which is the curriculum brand that I'm now taking up to the DOL and saying, okay, guys, like, I've worked this out. I've now hired over 25 people. I've put them through this process. I have guided them from beauty school to what it means to be a 5-star stylist and increase their income like year over year and their workforce satisfaction. And we can really make this work. Here's what it looks like. And so they were like, wow, that's really, really great. Okay, everybody, you've submitted your comments. We've heard Kristina talk. Now we're going to come back in 2 weeks and we're going to let her know what, or we're going to, if we're going to do this. So basically what the state would be considering for the very first time would be a model framework. Because right now the state stands out of it and they say, we are not authorities. We don't know what we're talking about in this. So whoever says whatever is what we're going to say. So we hired a proctored company. It's called Prov. Before that, it was called DL Roop. And we're going to bring them in and they're going to proctor these tests with minimally paid employees who don't really know much about what they're doing, who take their lead from these national organizations that no one really knows how, like, they don't level up the bar too much. It just keeps it pretty basic. So they're like, this is all we have the authority to do, essentially. And they've been shrugging their shoulders about it. So then after we come back to the third meeting and they basically say, well, after considering it, we have talked to the schools, essentially, and we have decided that we can't require anyone to do anything different. So what we would like to do is to create a recommended, suggested curriculum that we'll put on the website that maybe the schools will use, but we're not going to change the test. We're not going to really give you anything else, and we're not going to make you ever look at it. And so, of course, the schools are not going to do this. And at this point in time, I kind of pull back out of the conversation and I'm just like, look, no. I'm like, I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole with you, give you my content and the work that I've done so that you can just throw it on a website and nobody's ever going to touch this. Nobody's ever going to do it. So the backstory, or like more context on this, if you guys have heard of the big, beautiful bill that came down, it's coming through. I don't think that my premonition is that we're not going to be able to stop this. But what this is a debt to income ratio postgraduate program. So for certificate programs like cosmetology, barbering, and aesthetics, what they're really hoping is that you can out earn a high school diploma within, like, I think it's 2 or 3 years. I can't remember what the time frame is, but it's a decent amount of time that you should be able to like out earn a high school diploma. 96% or some ridiculously high amount of beauty schools will fail this. And if you fail this, you will lose your financial funding. And the schools are screaming about this because they're like, our people won't be able to come. But I'm like, your people are failing at an attrition rate of over 80% within the first 2 years. So tell me what your curriculum isn't doing. Because if your curriculum were treating people like giving them the information that they needed to meet their community's need, then as soon as they graduated, they would be able to do it. And so, but right now we are literally taking people and we're saying, okay, you can just tell us that you know how to do brain surgery. That's great. And then I'm going to ask you to do just some basic, like simple things with like a pen and a piece of paper. And then you can show me that. And we'll do that for like a half an hour. And then like some practice exam questions. But now I'm going to say, okay, you can do brain surgery. I'm going to just release you to the hospitals. You're now their liability issue. They will figure it out and train you if they don't want their people to die. That's what they're going to do. But the state of Washington stands right there and says that that's as far as we're going to like take the quality up altogether. So I was a bit infuriated. And so, but we discussed it a little bit further, and I have been now in connection with I was escalated up to now hopefully have some conversations with the National Institute of Cosmetology Instruction, the NIC, where they're willing to hear what it is I have to say. Because here's the thing, if the big beautiful bill passes and none of these requirements change at the testing level, then the NIC will also no longer exist. And so in our industry will crumble completely. And in a way it is going to kind of one way or the other, but one of them has foundational structure to rebuild and create something significantly better before it falls all the way out. And the other one is going to be a bunch of people just like, crying and gnashing of teeth and all that kind of stuff as it falls out, and they were powerless to ever make a difference about it. So, the idea fully is that it has to change at the instructor level, because this is actually the biggest pain point of the entire industry. So once anyone gets their cosmetology license anywhere in the United States that uses these same proctoring companies, they have reciprocity. So once you have your instructor's license, you can then in turn go back to any state. And then after a very, very short amount of time, I think it's like, I don't know, a year or something like that, you can go ahead and apply for your instructor's license. And within 500 hours of just classroom education, you're now an instructor and you can mentor the youth. That's it. You don't have to do anything to say. You don't have to show a single competency. You don't show you that you can braid hair, cut hair, not like give a chemical burn to somebody. You don't have to prove a dang thing. And it's like this for all of us. It's like this for barbers. It's like this for estheticians. It's people walking in the door. And what it is it's also like some of the lower paid jobs in our industry. And so these people get into our industry with a promise of like doing really well after they get out of it. Like, you're going to do so well. It's going to be amazing. You'll be an independent contractor. It'll be fantastic. Social media takes over and everybody thinks they're getting a 20% margin and they're going to make all this money. It doesn't happen. And some of these people have demographics, a lot of them have demographics that do not permit them to float like that or have somebody carry them until they can figure it out in the first 4 years. And so those people are looking for stability. The only real stable jobs in ours that are easily accessible to the majority of graduates are like chain salons. They will hire you. It doesn't mean that it's stable and you might not, it's like workforce satisfaction, all that's bad. But the other one is becoming an instructor, because it's that stable schedule, stable pay. It won't matter if it's not that much. You'll feel like you're doing something. You'll feel like you're in the industry. You'll feel like you're an expert, but you have joined the gaslighting squad, telling everybody that you are getting everything that you need. And once you graduate, there's an opportunity for you to be hyper successful, which is clearly a lie, which is why they're going to pull the funding from all of these schools. And so when I was talking with these people, I'm just letting them know, if we can change the instructor exam and make it make it prove competency, make it show that they can do these things, and rewrite some of these test questions. And then when we can recertify all the instructors at this higher level, then they will just naturally improve the industry overall. And then we, of course, can rewrite test questions at the regular technician level. And so anyway, so that's kind of where we're at in the battle and the fight for changing the things. But if we can get this together, then we can save the schools from themselves. And so, but they have a price to pay. They deserve to be held accountable to what they've done to so many people, take the only financial dollars these people will ever get, and not give them a usable license. And the state of Washington is responsible for making sure that that license means something to someone, and they are not going to hold themselves accountable to that. So it's going to continue to be an underground movement until we can engage at the highest of highest levels, and hopefully it won't be too late.
That was hella info. Thank you. I just asked her to sum it up, the bill she's been working on in a nutshell.
Okay.
That's all you missed.
Okay, cool.
Well, large nutshell.
Yeah, that covered most of it. Let's see, where do we go from there? Well, does anybody else have any questions about what she just said? Otherwise, some other.
I mean, go ahead. I definitely
You're leading it today.
questions. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's stick with the bill for now if there's more to discuss, because the other stuff, I mean, there's, Christina has her hands in a lot of different things, so I was also going to kind of touch on some other things that she's working on, but since we're on the bill, let's stay with that until we're done. So, what questions did you have, Josh?
Well, like if you did have the power to write a bill that you thought was like the best bill, what would it be? What do you really envision if they just gave you like a blank slate and we're like, we'll implement your plan, give it to us.
Yeah. It's honestly the way that it's written right now is correct. It makes the correct adjustments. It's literally the DOL's lack of want to bring it to its complete vision and intent. That's really where we're at. And so it says to add in all of the competencies, cultural competencies, considerations, consultation upgrades. It's all of the things that we do with contextual salon education are spoken to in the House bill, which we doubled down on, right? That's why we had those initial meetings, and I like just sent them all of these copies. And so little by little, I watched them adjust the bill in the background. So by the time we had the sessions, the wording was accurate. And then it was just them trying to figure out, well, how do we bring this about? What does this look like? And lots of people weighed in on it. And I'm just like, it looks like you guys changing the test.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like you changing the test. And they just were like, we're not sure if we have the authority. And I'm just like, that's interesting, because a letter was sent to me from the DOL that announced I was going to be working with a new testing company. So if you didn't choose, then who did? And they're like, oh, we chose. And I'm like, okay, so then you do have authority. And they were like, well, yes, but we don't have authority to change. I was like, okay, well, then who does? They were like,
so
well,
a private testing company is deciding the whole entire industry.
Yes, and that's what I told them. It's just a conversation. That's all it is, right? Because we're the client. We should be able to choose these types of things, but they're literally just throwing their hands up in the air, right? You know what I mean? Just going to the drive-through, picking exactly what's on the menu and saying that is exactly correct. Correct. No, it's not. That's correct. That's not correct. It's wrong. So yeah, no, and I'm just like, and I can't with the way that they said it. I mean, they were so like, it's like being so passive. And we talked about this yesterday, I think, Leah, where they were just like, it's like, no, you go, no, you go, no, you go. We don't want to turn anybody. And that's what I challenged. Yeah, and I challenged them. I was like, your guys' values are in the wrong place. Like, you're seriously here to talk about like licenses that protect consumer harm and increase workforce satisfaction. And yet when you came back to the table, the only people I heard you talk about were the schools. That's all I heard you say. Because you're just afraid that there's going to be a bottleneck and you guys aren't going to be able to absorb it. Have some fucking faith. I'm sorry, watch my mouth. And so
that's all good.
Yeah, we don't care.
Yeah. Anyway, so I would not really change the House bill. I would change the employment staff, because I just don't think that they have they don't have, it's like the power of the button pusher. They simply don't want to push the button. They're afraid. And I want to push the button.
Accountability built into it.
No, there's not. And they're going to be able to check off their little audit list.
Yeah.
Cosmetology, done.
We asked them to do it.
Gosh, we brought people to the table.
What more do you want from us?
If only we had more resources, what would we do? So apparently there's more meetings coming up. There's one on June 22nd. I think they'll announce it. I'll let you guys know. And so I'm not sure what they're going to be talking about there. And so, but I have pulled Will back off of it, because I'm just like, that's fine. I will just go ahead and go over your guys' head as best as possible. And we'll try and work on it. But
well, it sounds like you're getting him to budge. So that's hopeful. Nice
to hear that people want this, though. You know what I mean? Overall. And it's nice to be able to bring clarity of conversation into these spaces, because people do come at it from so many different angles about what is important in solving these types of things. But it really is about workforce development, workforce satisfaction, education, curriculum overhaul. And this is just an industry where it's very easy to see, because of the turnover being so fast, right? The flush is so fast at the beginning. It's like the wild, wild west in the first 2 years. If you get out with that license to do something with it before it consumes you and you have to give up and maybe go get a nursing degree or something, that's usually where they go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I know, some, there's these big gaps in the curriculum and the education in the industry, but I know that's not the only gap that there is, that they're not teaching all of the inclusive curriculum.
Right.
When we met, one of the things that I kind of heard you talking about and sparked my interest in what you were doing even before all of this um was when starting the Kind Professional Society and acknowledging that there was a gap in other parts of the industry as well, and just how salon owners are viewing their clientele and the communities that they serve. And so I just, if you want to talk a little bit about that, because I find that to be super interesting, and potentially even looking beyond this HB 1874 bill, what comes next? I know there's more that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, that moves into the business structure. So the contextual salon education and the House bill speak specifically to like missing curriculum that needs to be updated all the way across the board. But the other part is that we add in and take a look at is the history of the development of this industry in our country. Like, what did it look like? Where did it come from? And why did the businesses position themselves this particular way? And so again, to remember that in our industry, we will have people coming in at high rates and falling out at high rates. How easy is it to rewrite history when that is the case?
Mm-hmm.
Now also add in that it's a female-dominated industry. There's a high perspective that this is a hobby, it's a side hustle, and not necessarily something that intelligent people do. So there's a lot of stigma around our industry as you go into this. So when you get to the high levels of salon ownership, or we are talking purely about privilege, because our statistics flush people out before they can stabilize and create foundational businesses, generally speaking. So we're looking at someone who had some money to get in, who could basically open this up in the environment, in the commercial environment that we have going on right now. And they believe something specifically that our industry has told them. And now they're going to repeat that recipe with their staff over and over and over again, because that's how our industry has always been. So the people who are in charge right now still believe that the big brands are responsible for creating their purpose. So like, here's the new thing that you're doing. Here's the new product styles you're selling. Here's the new looks clients are looking for. Here's the new, here's the new, here's the new. And it's kind of always been like that. And so it has the salons, when they open up, they are just like, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get the space. I'm going to get all the chairs. And then when I'm going to look up to the brand companies who are now going direct to consumer and do not have their best interest at heart. And it's been like this for over 30 years, that they have not cared about the professional hairdresser, but they continue to do it. Product companies continue to have this relationship with hairdressers because it's like shooting fish in a barrel. And so they're just not going to stop, because they don't have to stop, and they're going to make money on us hand over fist, but they're going to get more of their money from direct to consumer. They already know that. And so, but they just continue to play the game with us. But because of that, they don't produce any quality education anymore unless they own schools themselves. They have to have quality control. And so by the time these people come out and now they've opened up this thing, they have this vision, and then what they're going to do is they're really, the only thing they're told to do in beauty school, the only mission and vision that they're given is to make people feel better. Just make people feel better. Can you open up a business to make people feel better? So now we have boutique salons everywhere covered in pink and fuzzy and fluffy things. And then we have like girls that are wearing like all of these taupe colors and like these big bold hats and stuff like that, because we're just supposed to make people feel better. It's very ethereal. And so, but if there's not a training program underneath it, and it has nothing to do with working on the main street. And so, their angle is completely off. And so you don't have any, so then they come in and they hire these staff, and they don't know what to do with them, and they don't know how to train them. And then this begins the process and the continuation of toxic workforce ego-driven salons that eventually happens when people don't train, share information, support each other, know how to engage intellectually with each other, hold psychologically safe space, or do any of that kind of stuff. And then we'll see the toxic environment go over. So when what Leah's speaking to is how I have a fundamental belief that you can fix communities by using kind capitalism. Like you can absolutely, like it takes when people, so we teach in contextual salon education, it's called Main Street business. And we have them identify what is a main street. It is the center of a community. Let's think about how any one of those were ever founded. People came to a place. They identified the main street, and then they put their basic services right there on the main street. Was it meant to be the most expensive real estate? No. Was it meant to be like the most expensive services and products? No. It was literally meant to be the cheapest, most accessible to everyone there. And so we even have our Main Street business wrong. So with our staff, like they never lose sight of the fact that you're here to serve your community, right? Like you're here to provide basic scalp and hair care services to all people, because that's the service of a community hairdresser. But when these salons graduate from the schools and they've now been owned by big brands, that's not their goal. Their goal is to make the highest profit possible from the most highest paying client possible. So then they target the demographics in Tacoma north of 6th Avenue and they say, what does the rich bitch want? And they go, and that rich bitch is now being controlled by whatever social media marketing situation that they're seeing that's telling them that this is what beautiful women look like and how expensive can we make that service, so that stylist and that owner target the education brands. Now they have a product company relationship with these people. So now they're going to pay them for external education to learn how to give the most expensive services to the most highest paying client per hour, but they will not know how to do a barbered haircut or a short layered haircut or a curly haircut to save their life. But their whole salon will be successful by doing blonde extensions and highlights. So that part, and then so then you have people who are like coming from the actual demographics. So these schools all target the same demographics. They go into middle, low class neighborhoods where they know cosmetologists are created. And so then they tell them that you're going to go and you're going to have these jobs. But then the only salons that exist in their area in high amounts are these kinds of salons. So then we have now really, really aware young people who are Black and brown and are looking for more inclusivity in their world. Now they're looking at the cosmetology schools and they're going, no, I'm not doing that. So now I have under the table braiders and all these other things happening on the side because they know that that license is only going to lead them into this place. They don't know that there's other options, right? You know what I mean? Like some of them can see, some of them I snag, like parents will bring in people to me to talk to them. Like, what is it really like? We hear these rumors about what it's like to be in the beauty industry. Like, what is it? And I'm like, well, in this area, I can just tell you, you can just, if it works out, we will just hire your child. You know what I mean? Like we will just bring them in because we're going to continue to grow and grow and grow until we can, and as long as it needs, until we can find a solution for other people to join the battle. Left Coast Salon does not mean to be the only solution for this. I'm not trying to capitalize on this, but I will capitalize on it. You know what I mean? And so, and to the tune of the profit of the people who won't pay attention to what the hell is going on and how we all need to participate together in a collective solution, but they're so stuck in their spaces. So the Kind Professional Society is based off of a feedback loop to consumer. So it says that the consumer will always scream loudest and regularly for the thing that they need on their main streets. And it's any business's responsibility to go and step into that spot and fulfill that need. But somewhere along the line, when we had mass exodus from the millennials who left the major workforces, and now we're all independent contractors of one, and now they're opening businesses as hobbyists. They're like, oh my God, I just really love doing this. So I'm going to open a business doing this. I'm like, have you ever read the E-Myth? Like, that's the 100% way to like hate something after a short amount of time. And so like, do not do that to yourself. And so, but they go into it thinking that they're going to do this. And that's not what it takes to be a leader. That's not what it takes to be an employer. That's not what it takes to change it. And so you can't just work on that. You have to look at what does the consumer actually need? Consumer saturation, right? You know what I mean? How many more burger and beer places does Tacoma need? How many? How many? Right? You know what I mean? Like that's a saturation. It's a saturated market. So like let's like stand back and be smart about it. Like what do we need basic needs? And so when my staff come in and we teach them, like we just restructure their vision. It's just like your vision is to provide equitable access to basic scalp and hair care for all. Mission statement vision lined in there. And so then what is that? And how does Left Coast Salon bring that about? It brings it about by constantly asking the consumer, what happened? What happened? Why were you so dissatisfied? What's your experience been like? You know what I mean? And that's what, we went through the same thing as you were onboarding. And we do it the same way with everyone. Tell us all of your pain points. And we can't promise you that we can solve them today, but we will work really hard to do it by the next time you come in. And so my staff understands that we operate much like America's Test Kitchen, if you've ever watched that show. So we are constantly going back to the table, figuring it out, better ways to solve problems that are presenting themselves as new clientele come in. And we use that information to fuel the workforce development. And then on top of that, we have, I'm just obsessed with different leadership models and stuff like that, but of course, servant leadership. And so I've really pressed and challenged myself outside of this to become the leader that I believe needs to exist in the industry. I didn't have any mentors. I had catty ass bitches and really like diva queens at the top. Like they were not nice. And so they were not helpful. And if you presented really well, they just slapped you down. And so part of the reason that I left that type of industry, because I couldn't hang. And so what happens when your leadership like looks at you, right? I'll go lead into it. So we talk about wholehearted hairdressers. It's one of the questions, Leah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, go for it.
And so, but
you know where I'm going with it.
Yeah. And it all goes together, right?
Yeah.
But we call them wholehearted hairdressers. And it's because when we bring people in, we train to the technical, personal, and professional develop of the whole individual. And my argument is that personal development is the most important out of all of those things. And I think that you guys will all agree that, you know what I mean? Like you have to be able to show up for yourself before you can even try and learn something new. It's like really hard when you feel insecure, and whenever you start a new job and you feel like on your heels, like maybe you don't deserve to be there, you have imposter syndrome, or you're just going to try and figure it out. And I'm like, I don't want you to do that. I want you to show up like as scared as you are so that I can help you understand how we can trust each other and work together to collaborate a future for yourself as you set goals. And I just help hold you accountable to the things that you stated. And sometimes you're not ready for that development, and that's okay. You know what I mean? There are other places out there where you can just figure it out. But at Left Coast Salon, we can't just figure it out. Everyone has to be thriving and growing every single day. That's the angle every single day. You can have low days, but when you wake up the next day, you have to really ask yourself, what can I do to improve my situation so that I can continue to grow forward? And when you have that, and then also we have a see something, say something. It's straight up. No toxic backroom chatter, no workplace, that kind of stuff. We don't do anything like that. We are like a solid and legit communicating, caring, and kind team. And I have modeled that into my leadership team from the beginning. And now they're doing that. Like I'm barely there at the salon. I'm really only there like 1 day a week. And I have these like power players who are just the kindest, gentlest mentors and leaders to their coworkers. And they all see each other as like peers, and and if anybody has anything, right, nobody's ever allowed to, like if I can see it, that there's something wrong. And so then we just kind of like pick at it and like we'll pull it forward. Nobody gets to like hide in the corner or come in and do their job and just go home. There's other, like I tell them, I was like, there's other salons or places where you can go that will permit that kind of behavior. But for here, you're going to have to share. You know what I mean? What are you going through? Because in order to serve the community, you have to be able to be your authentic self. You can't fake it. And clients hate that. And they also don't like somebody emotionally dumping all over them too. That's the opposite side of it, like oversharing, right? You know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm paying for your service. Like, I'm not trying to be your therapist today. And so there's two sides of the coin. And so, but yeah, so the thing, I think the bigger thing is that just changing, believing fully that business owners, when I started reading all the business books and stuff like that, and they're giving out these like generic profit margins, and this is how we run businesses, and this is how we do it. And I'm listening to these Harvard business books and stuff like that. And there's all these rules about what you do and don't do with your employees and how you engage with them and stuff like that. And after hearing a lot of it, I was just like, you know what? No, I don't know that all those are right. And and then the farther I got into it, you know, the farther that I saw that it was like connected to, you know, like Freudian economics and like how they want to run those types of structures and like what they're willing to do at the top and what they're not. And I just decided that I'm like, that's not how we're doing it. And I'm going to try and do it the way that I really believe that Main Street businesses were meant to be run, purely off of the local community needs this, especially in personal service providers. This is very clear with us. The community needs personal service providers, and personal service providers need to be able to get the education that they need in the area where they live, work in that community, and age and place, and be able to afford to live in the area that they're serving. You know, and that is a kind professional society. And that if you create enough industries doing this collectively together, the inherent joy of that whole community elevates, because it feels like your community is hugging you through your workforce development. Right now, Tacoma only feels like it only hugs people through its communities that it's able to connect with on the outside and on the surface. But commercially, it does not. It does not. It does not. It fights for your every single dollar at the highest rate, and it's obnoxious. And so, and I haven't, and like, it's really hard to meet other business owners sometimes and listen to them talk about what makes their financial decisions for them, because it's either no one's at the helm or the wrong person is. And so it's pretty obvious when you can go in there and absorb their business. But there are other businesses out there when you can engage with them and you're like, you know what it feels like to walk in and feel like they love the people in their community, you know? And so, but that's the kind professional society stuff.
Awesome. Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions about that? I know with the KP Society, you know, you did kind of mentor some other businesses that were intrigued by the idea.
Right.
But I think when they found out that, you know, there's sacrifices you have to make and there's challenges and barriers, it wasn't something they were willing to put their efforts into. And so I know that you've had to sacrifice a lot to make this vision a reality. And that, you know, as a business owner, you've made that decision to put this first. And could you speak to that at all? Just about what you've had to sacrifice and what you have to do, and it's worth it, you know, to.
The last thing I wanted to do. Like, it was the last thing I wanted to do, right? As a single mom, and I was divorced, I was like, the last thing I wanted to do, I was like, I don't ever want to open up a salon with employees. And I was like, I don't ever want to train the youth. Like, I just want to hire people who are, you know, they're good like me, right?
Right.
And like, I just didn't want to do these things. I didn't want to do any of these things. But what happened was, I couldn't hear the sad stories anymore. You know what? Like, and so because of that and how easy, like once you stand back and look at it, that it's like, this is a hyper preventable issue. We could easily solve this by changing some things. And like, and I can see that even though some people don't see it right now, like once it starts to turn, like they'll easily see it. So I really believed that once I kept running into it. But what I couldn't avoid was this. It was like that I was becoming more and more popular and booked. And my industry states that when you become more booked, you raise your prices. And I was becoming to the point where it was going to have to happen. But if I was going to do those things, I was going to stop being able to serve the people that I cared the most about. So that I need to bring about, like, what am I going to do to like grow a team? How am I going to even come about this? And so I was like, I'm just going to try. And so I had been pretty stable, like just financially by myself. But I had, because of I was able to like save from just being in one chair in person by myself. So I had just like this little bit aside. And I'm like, well, I guess if I can just, what else am I going to do? You know what I mean? Like, what else am I going to do? Like, somebody was just like, I mean, like, this is such an issue. And I looked around and I'm like, somebody's got to do something about this issue. And when I looked around, there was, like I said, there was no one there. And so, like, you know, shrugged my shoulders and I was like, well, I guess, and I like thought about the things that I knew how to do. I had already piloted like once I established Left Coast Salon in 2017, I had piloted my identity and the service flow and the menu offerings. Like I had already created what I knew clients absolutely loved and was working for them to get that educational service so that they felt seen and heard. And so I already created the thing. And so it's like, what do I do now with it? And I just had to like, was like, I guess if nobody's gonna do it, like I should just try. I should just try. And then I had already had like lived essentially enough life, felt like I had done enough things outside to say that like I could see how I could spend the rest of my life doing this. And so that was really so when it comes down to it, I'm like a dog with a bone, right? You know what I mean? And so, and it was just a matter of proving it at that point in time because I was so fucking mad with constantly having conversations with other hairdressers, throwing their hands up in the air, not knowing what to do about anything. And I'm like, you're literally the problem. You know what I mean? Like, would you like to come learn from me? No, actually, I like what I'm doing. Is that right? Does your consumer like what you're doing? Oh, no, they don't. Oh, but you're okay. Okay, good. Oh, is this someone else's battle? Okay, all right, someone else's battle. Got it. All right, noted. And so like I just kept running into that. And I'm like, somebody's gonna care about this. Somebody's gonna care about this. And so then I even like when I opened it up, I called the instructors to the table. Like a bunch of cosmetology school instructors, like all of them to the table. And I'm just like, come here, have this conversation with me. They're like, wow. Yeah, let us know when you can pay
Good
us.
luck.
Yeah, let us know when you can pay us $60K to work for you. The fuck I will. I was like, you guys are the least qualified in the industry. I'm just trying to get somebody to care about this shit. You know what I mean? Like, and so, I mean, it was, yeah. So there was nowhere to go. Like, there was never a chance to turn back. You know what I mean? Like, once I made the decision to move forward, it was just, there's no way you can stop this kind of thing. You know what I mean? I can't all of a sudden say, because there were many times, right? You know what I mean? Like, where I was barely even making it, didn't know if I was going to make payroll. There was a bunch of things that happened. But it was just like, what would I do? When I'm just going to stop, shut down,
give up,
go back to a one-person thing, pretend like this doesn't to me? No, like I would be like after it again, really shortly after that, if it ever happened. And so, but the thing that I probably sacrificed the most, which probably a lot of people would agree with in this process, is I just had to sacrifice my ego and my ideologies about victimization by the industry. I am still righteously indignant. And so, but I am like, it's not from the same angle that I came at beforehand. I had to let those things go and learn how to reparent myself and get to the root of what got me even into hair in the first place so that I could speak to the average demographics of the person walking into our industry so I could meet them there and then help them find their own path and walk. And in that process was really how it came to be. And which is why it's not me. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like Left Coast Salon is not Kristina's not the face of that. That's why it doesn't look like me. It looks like a collection of individuals who are actually in an employed salon, but look like, you know, autonomous independents with their own personality. We are not a cookie cutter salon. We're not doing what Starbucks did, what Nordstrom did, what Jean Juarez did. Like, we're empowering individuals in our industry the way that it always was meant to be. And so with this really pure filter, but what it asks is for a whole new workforce because again, they were preying on weak demographics, and many of them are not good fits, not without a lot of therapy, not without a lot of support. And it is an unfortunate sadness. And so, but we at least know that at the beginning, we can help those who are interested. You know what I mean? Before they get the license, before they get kicked out, before they, you know, have any of these problems when they start serving their community and their clientele. And so, yeah, so I would probably say that was the biggest sacrifice was probably just overall, like I had to give up my I don't know, maybe also the idea that somebody was going to come along and like marry me and pay for me and I wasn't ever going to have to work again in my life. I mean, I gave that up in my 30s, but like, I mean, and that also had to go because somewhere in my mind I was like, maybe I'll just relax. Like, I know, I should be working. I should be doing the things.
Well, I'm glad that you did.
Thanks.
Thank God. Well, anybody else have any questions at all?
I was gonna say, did you know that Leah can rap and sing and stuff like that?
I mean, he has mentioned it a time or two before, and it would not surprise me. That is really, did you prepare something yet?
No, I did not prepare anything.
Well, like how you understand your industry and you really able to like really just break it down, you know, almost like scientifically. Are you able to like are you able to view the whole world that way? Can you like are you sharp like that sharp with everything, or is this just like a savant thing that you understand on some high operational level, or you know, do you what other things are you passionate about, because like you really just got a full complete knowledge of this, but also just the systems that you're dealing with. How did you become like that?
I freaking love systems. I guess that's the piece about it too. I love them so much. As being a person who has, I mean, I would never even think about like having ADD until like, you know, to talk about it later on in life, but systems are great. And when I realized in business, I became obsessed with like what does it take? Because I guess that's the thing is like as an independent contractor, you start to you put yourself aside and you're like, this is my thing and whatever it is. And as a millennial, it's like, yeah, you're right. The employment structures are broken. Management sucks. Nobody ever has your best interest and all these other things. And so then, you know, we go independent and that became kind of a solution. But then as I started to stand back and look at it more, I realized that there is the conveyor belt nature to communities on purpose, right? You know what I mean? Like from the time that you're born to the time that you're fed into the education systems and then da 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 da. And all of our communities, right, have this essential conveyor belt thing that was built in. It's just that the infrastructure was built like a million years ago, right? And so well, maybe not a million, but a long time ago. And like, so then I started to see the patterns. I guess I think the short answer to your question is I'm a patterns individual. So like I patterns all over the place. And yes, I do believe that we can take what we're doing now is we're proving it in the beauty industry. So I have like my secret that I share regularly, so maybe not a secret anymore, is that I actually have hated the hair industry since the second year that I was in it. Because from the demographics that I was in, I didn't have a lot of choices. And so I became a hairstylist, but I got into it and I'm like, this sucks really badly. But I'm stuck here. I don't have any money. I owe now on the student loan that I had taken out, and I had moved myself up to Seattle to work for Jean Juarez, and it was not working out. And so I realized that I was one of many people that this had happened to. And so I forgot where I was going with that.
Well, I feel like transferable skill. These are transferable frameworks that you've created, and they can be used in other industries.
Yes.
Is that where you're going?
Yeah. Thank you so much. I've now spoken too much. But yeah, so the Kind Professional Society, so out Left Coast Salon, I started seeing how it was like, oh my gosh, this workforce development issue conveyor belt situation is broken in every industry, and very specifically easy to see in personal service industries, because those are the ones that I like, you know, engage with a lot of times. I can argue how they're broken at the product, like, because, you know, there's the two deliverables, it's product or services that businesses are offering. And so it's always at the service level that this is going to be, this conveyor belt is broken right here. So what the idea is that, right, so schools produce the graduates are now supposed to be vetted by a license. Then there's a bridge that goes to their very first workforce environment. The workforce environment needs to offer a residency style training situation that was always the way that it was meant to be, where mentors are there. But the idea is that the mentors are not juniors necessarily. The mentors could be people who have freshly gone through the program, but it should be overseen by the philanthropists in the industry who have the most vetted experience, bringing that information from the top all the way down, working with the juniors, and then those people, just like, you know, in unions, move up into like a journeyship level. So now they're working in the company, they're operating on their own, they're really growing and all these other things. And then eventually they move their way up into opportunities where a business has the opportunity to become an employee-owned situation, the way that capitalist businesses were always meant to move into employee ownership so that they get a share in their work. And so that's the model as Left Coast Salon will be moving forward. And so then they should be leveling up in these employment situations where they can now become part of the ownership process. And then in that retirement, we call it the philanthropic retirement with the Kind Professional Society, where you get up there and now you can use the resources that you have to give back down to the beginning, to always inform the beginning of that conveyor belt process for the new people coming into your industry. This works for every industry. And again, the idea is that if we can correct this, the people get to age in place in their communities, and it will increase the overall joy of everyone living in that community because they will have their basic needs met. They won't be fighting for those things. It also allows for niches to exist, right? Like this is when we can really start to see niche style businesses come in. But first we have to have a community with range and lots of saturation at the lowest levels. And we're not seeing that. We're seeing lots of niche businesses pop up and shut down and pop up and shut down and pop up and shut down. And it's because they don't have a foundational business that's creating a workforce underneath them. There's no training consortium. And so
there's a lot of gatekeeping,
yes.
It seems like.
Oh, friend, yes. And that's really annoying. That's just toxic business perspectives. And that's what the Kind Professional Society is. It's just like, it's literally a perspective shift. It's you believing that your business can do kind things. But people, when they get into business, oftentimes they believe that there's going to be a day, people do this in politics, they believe that there's a day that they might sell their soul. And they walk up to that day, they choose who they are. You know what I mean? But then they believe a lot of times that they were forced into those decisions. And I like to say that it's a shortage of character instead, because it's what I see across the board. But yeah, so that's the Kind Professional Society work. And so we would love to, and like I've talked to Leah about that as well, as just, once we can prove this at this level, so maybe impacting, so like futurism, right? What if we are able to change the test questions for the instructors at the top level? What if we're able to get that to filter down? And it puts pressure on the schools to pick up that they have to teach to the test, because if their people cannot pass the test, they won't become licensed. So now the schools will overall improve. Now the metrics will come through that will show workforce satisfaction. The community would come through and say, oh my gosh, our needs are being met. We wouldn't hear people scream the fact that they can't find a hairdresser, this or that or whatever. Nobody knows how to do my X hair or whatever it is. And so we would just see it overall. And then we would be able to take the entire cosmetology industry as a case study and start moving it into other industries as we can do it. But I mean, it's going to be a little bit interesting, I think, too, because there's all of these national entities that kind of like control pieces of information. And then there's the state level things that are going on over here. And then there's the private organizations that are doling out the stuff to the communities. And none of them want to say that they're responsible for really any other part of it. And so every state has its. I'm sure it'll be fascinating for the rest of my life, at the very least.
Definitely.
Well, Kristina, May has he's next on our questions from the group, but we got a question from Trey Titan 176 in the chat. He actually put in two questions. I think one you kind of answered at the beginning, but can you the HB 1874, what is its correlation to the Crown Act? And then his second question was, how difficult was it building kind of a community-based business model within a capitalistic industry?
Yeah. So I am not 100% familiar off the top of my head about what the Crown Act is. I think it is I can't even speak to it. I know that I've heard of it, but I won't even want to talk to it if I don't even know what it is. And so I know that it has, anyway. So, but what I can say is building the community service business, really it's a matter of positioning the community. Like at first it was, I absolutely had to build trust with my clientele and tell them exactly what it was that I was doing. And so then when I opened up the salon residency program, I even had to change the name of Left Coast Salon for a period of time. I changed it to a Left Coast Advanced Training Salon so that I could explain to the community what I was doing. I was 100% transparent about the mission of this from the very beginning to them. And so when I told my clientele what to expect, and then when I pulled in these new recruits, I didn't pretend like they knew what they were doing. I called them salon residents, and then the community that we brought in, we told them what we were doing as well. So they were willing to be patient and sit together and all these other things. There were along the way, I just think common pressures about being a capitalist, terrible business owner, right? Like we're making profits and you can see that and you're making a choice to take the money or give it back. You know what I mean? When you see your staff is elevating and you choose to give them a raise or you don't. When you see, everybody's telling you when they're shutting doors in your face and they're saying that this isn't going to work or this isn't important, and you just like believe that you're going to do it. Capitalism is actually really free to do kind of what you want, right? You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be bad if you don't make it bad. It's just that there's a lot of books and things out there that could let you think that you're not in control of making those choices. So I guess overall, it hasn't felt hard to do that part. What's hard to do is what we talked about is with the House bill stuff. It's hard to get the support from the government to uplift the standard and hold it there and say that we are responsible for bringing this about and measuring it and stating that our people who hold licenses are capable of producing measurable outcomes. And that is not something that they're able to do. But I could definitely look into the Crown Act another time and get back to you on that. I'm sure it's something that I've seen before, but off the top of my head, I cannot recall.
It's the anti-discrimination against locks and ethnic type of hair.
Yeah. So that's fun story. In Washington, it's not even a thing. We don't even look at it. It's not discriminated because it's not a thing. It's not even included on the license. So like when you engage with the Procter and companies and you sign up for a contract with these Procter and companies, you can state our state requires you to test out on these particular items. But the state of Washington takes the thing. And it's ridiculous. If they silo all of these natural hair services and they just shove them out. And they just say, oh, that's just for the X community. So it's not even licensed in the state of Washington. So in other places, and the work that I'm trying to do with the DOL is to write that back in. And so hold on just a moment. I have to step away for just a second.
Oh, okay.
Great question, Trey Titan.
Yeah, thank you for listening on the chat. That's awesome. Engaged.
Hey, yo, this is the type of stuff you can do when your face isn't on the screen and you're focused on the background. And Lee is leading the charge.
True. Freeze you up.
May, you're up next on the questions. We're kind of at our normal limit just for a guest. I mean, of course, she can stay as long as she wants. But I figure we can, if she wants to stay, we can do our normal music break. But yeah, we're right about that time. So I figure, May, if you want to round out our...
Yeah, I got a quick one. I'll take it to music. What was the last song you listened to or played?
Oh, for myself?
Yeah.
What was I listening to this morning? I guess I was listening to Daddy Yankee. I'm preparing for a Daddy Yankee. I teach dance fitness classes. I'm a Zumba instructor. Right, I love dance fitness, yay! And so, so I'm preparing for. I teach at the YMCA, and so I have to do a Daddy Yankee concert in a couple weeks. And so was listening to a bunch of the music to remind myself of the millennial bangers that we got down to at the club.
Cool. I always like to ask that.
Yeah.
Fun.
Well, that might be a good way to like end the first part. You could just close out by shouting out your salon, the address and any other things you want to promote, like maybe if you do teach classes, or that's all things sure. You could share. You can send us you could text Leah the links and we'll post it on the comments of this YouTube video so it'll be up there forever.
Yeah, I would say that Left Coast Salon on 6th Avenue and in Tacoma, and you can book online at www.leftcoastsalon.com. And we have 8 fantastic stylists of all different levels there. All of our services include basic scalp and hair care, the foundations of it, so everyone learns how to properly take care of their hair and like shampoo and condition it fully. They get ingredient breakdowns in the first one. So we do all of that consultative stuff with your services. And then on top of it, phenomenal, haircuts and then all the other kind of services. So I definitely recommend recommending it and sharing it around and checking out our reviews on Google. That really speaks to the amount of type of experience you're going to have at the salon. And we serve everyone. So all genders, ethnicities, ages, actually only down to 4. We don't do children under 4. And so, but that's about it. But I really appreciate your guys' time today. Thanks for listening. Thanks for letting me yap on like that.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Yes.
That was great.
I'm just so proud of you, Kristina, how far you've come since I've met you and just like how much you've done. I just hope you give yourself credit for all the work that you've accomplished.
I will work on that.
Yeah.
For sure. And Leah can send you the YouTube link of this so you can watch it or share it at your leisure.
Great. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you for the chance and the opportunity. I appreciate it.
We appreciate you for coming on and everything that you're doing and being passionate about it. So thank you. All right, y'all. Y'all know what time it is. We getting into our halftime break for today's show. Of course, it is still the month of May, so we're going to throw on some May Dolly-esque joints, and we got a couple a little bit after that. So please make sure you hit that subscribe button. It don't cost you nothing. Share it with your homies. We want to see you in the chat like Trey Titan. We will bring your question to the forefront. We do that.
What are you
The
making
Build and
now?
Destroy show.
I know this song. The real chaotic jazz white people don't be liking. They don't like the chaos magic and shit like that. I think melanin make us like free jazz and shit like that. I'ma just be free. I proved I'm the sun without saying so. Oddly enough, I'm still laying cold. I garden with the water hose, sprayer flow. In a pot of monotony, I'm making goals. The father of karma, he gon' pave the roads. You taking the highway to save your soul. The debut by May was sensational. I'll save you in 5 ways and make you grow. I'm still rhyming the psilocybin shaman. Black excellence, facts represent, stacks imminent. Save the back and forth, that's Wimbledon. Off the leash like lease when the rental ends. Never change the ink cartridge in this mental pen. Stay dope until the non-suspenseful end. Love forgave me while I'm laying here relaying me, that's the fountain pen. On the mic I throw my doubts again. I'm clearing out the karma in the soul again. Microphone controller and I go to win. I'm riding on my bicycle, I'm climbing hills. And I take time to give you rhyming skills. I'm inclined for real, so my mind's a chill thing. Like an ice cube, I might duel and filmmaking. Look at my copper skin. Look at the opportunities hopping in.
Oh, come on. You read it and that's all you got? You didn't even get the part where I cried in bed because tears came to my face because I invited 2 women to have Thanksgiving with me and I didn't know which one to go to. I mean, no, there are many moments in there where I look like a complete
It's the month of May,
asshole when I felt like
2026.
one.
Copy.
No, I
May
was
Dolly.
just, I just wasn't
jumping into bed and fucking and
It's
jumping
today's
out of bed. I'm sorry.
You gonna see what he
It
popped
would
off
be
on
nice for me to
yesterday.
say that, and Kim, I'm
The
a
Monkey
tough
Man.
guy, but I'm not that tough.
SoundCloud.com/MakeDollars.
But in your stories, love is always a sin.
Alright. Let's go.
Get
It's
it.
the Build and Destroy show. Halftime break, y'all.
Signing in. You know. About the black. The notes are tragic. Addicts' behavior in the addicts and neighbors. Average shit, laxative labor. Recover from accidents made up. My daily struggle spin. I ain't rapping to say stuff. Gray tux in the passenger plane. Asking for change. Say what? Most of the cabbage family made us but calamities cages. That was this. Slash on the razor cumbersome. Though I'm accurately laid up.
What were you thinking?
Forgave me subtle, trends took their heart, so I gave up. Coupled with sadness, that's the last of those days, yup. Love hurts, but art heals. Certain forms of growth happen in the dark, my nigga. That's how the spark builds. Life is still a marathon, my pace is on par still. Some held me back and tried to get that confirmed kill. Meals for the worms tried to turn me to worm meal. Man eater is in a human suit with a learned skill. Traumatized weapons to firmly wield. Disloyalty got me drinking fifths of Crown Royal with some loyalty. I'm capping like the crown on royalty. Back again with my back to the wind. Natural knack from within. Factor in the back of the mental if you're mental. Radiated pen notes for kinfolks. We flush them out if they're against hope. Join together as we coin the letters for the better. The era we are in is Kimberly and never forget her. Another one for the archives in these stark times. The consciousness is a part lies when the art thrives. It's art time. Boatload of quotes gold. Opposition mode of control for the foes grows. Hyperactive mic attraction with polite synapses. Uncanny ability. Folks get sniped by asking. What a wonderful world as the blunders unfurl. Catch me out up in the tundra with the curls. Mask on in disguise so the task done. Why? Stacking up songs the size of mastodon thighs. Detach the wrong vibes. We after long strides. Music is a muse and the guides by my side.
Next question. Drink some more scotch. It'll cheer you up. Enjoy yourself.
Came from the mud like the sands at a time. Etiquette of current grand plans to find. Let this be the letters that allegedly leak from me. Up the competitive levels of flexing my decency. Who that in the blue and black code? Fluid rap quotes, not a prudent fact told. Why call on the chosen to fall on? Why call on the chosen to fall on? All along everything was all wrong. All along everything was all wrong. Baddest bitch I ever had was a beat made with a static mix. Volume in the panic shade. If you give me, just know you're in a menage with music. Regardless however you see it or choose it. Attention divided, yet not one-sided. And you can't get an STD for vibing. Quiet in the streets, but a riot in the sheets. Paper tablets in the bed making fabrics. Set displays never led you astray. That's it. Medicated savage, dedicated addicts. Several made it tragic. Levels to the magic. Had to go and cop another bag for the baggage. Solo type production with the right and automatic. Insightful mic full of information, light filled.
Cut that shit off.
It's the Build and Destroy show. Halftime break.
Many people assumed that Dolly was keeping track of his work the way some artists do. And that was not true.
It's 2 on 2 with 9-foot hoops. All they want is alley-oops. Just throw it up for me. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up for me. Your life on film, the highlight reel. Shacked in the pool in your twilight years. Rewind like Nas to your time in the crib. Food on your beard, drool down your lip. Now who is your friend in the end? When you see the Grim Reaper in the rear view mirror creeping and you can't bend the corner on him. Keep moving forward, text the corner, you're coming. I'll be there in a second, but never show up. Always third or second, but never the first. Let's combine our energy and then blow up. But you can't connect with everyone, it just don't work. Still practice dribbling and shooting drills. Skills mastered in the classroom and the field. Build from scratch, years of blood, sweat, sweating tears. Now tacky is here, so pass me the pill. Just throw it up. It's 2 on 2 with 9-foot hoops. All they want is alley-oops. Just throw it up. It's 2 on 2 with 9-foot hoops. All they want is alley-oops. Just throw it up for me. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up for me. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up.
All these questions, here's the answer. A-Walls, they try to slander. Blocks open, I'm out, run routes like Barry Sanders. Mind over matter, don't listen to chitter chatters. Going down, down, baby, better know your country grammar. Pockets got fatter, circle got smaller. Snakes get revealed with the skills of the lawnmower. Respect my travel down the corridor. Reach the room, kick my feet up, locking the door. Used to be skinny, 90s big clothes worn. Now my ego smashing like the Hulk with shorts torn. When I get mad, I turn green. Niggas say they want smoke, nah, they just want weed. Cause they weak, the sack with the stems and seeds. We the chronic, DRE and Eagle double G. Fast break, alley use, we can throw it up. They want with the reverse, double pump, dump, get off. It's 2 on 2 with 9-foot hoops. All they want is alley-oops. Just throw it up. It's 2 on 2 with 9-foot hoops. All they want is alley-oops. Just throw it up for me. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up for me. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up, homie. Just throw it up for me.
Burn it down, we burn it all down. Burn it down, we burn it all down. Burn it down, we burn it all down. Burn it down, we burn it all down.
Burn it, burn it.
Bar bias target obnoxious shifts in the culture. Conflict the souls reach illicit mode. Speak the release of scripts is told. It's give and go. Likely lateral past actual on the rappy note. Matters of fact like truth and atom. In my formative years I wrote my sutras in a cabin. Beautifully elusive with contraptions. Seduce the pineal gland from quick synapses. I just let my pencil twitch sporadic. Words appeared and the shit is magic. Mental alchemy is written implement without the ink. Thoughts undoubtedly reroute the sea. The humble had a bout with greed that led to spiritual growth before he found the seed. Been hot since they found me in a foundry. I'm now released, above average because of static shifts. Written from buzz with the addict's wrist. Next to my name is an asterisk. It's Dolly effervescent when I draft the shit.
Burn it down, we burn it all down. It's butterfly pimping and ad infinitum. From heaven to hell to every haven. It's ninja gating, my natives say Skoden. I'm a miser, a real Weisenheimer. Watching anime with anime. We thick as thieves, reading tea leaves on medical leave. On this medical leaf. Me and Felicity broke into the facility and freed all the prisoners of the city. I'm on a plane, I'm passing you by, I'm passing Dubai. Eating quiche with Keisha, we don't need any of y'all. I'm solo watching shadows on the wall. Remember when Maldonado shot up the mall? We used to be broke as shit on some broken shit. Megalithic was spit, I took a slip off the mothership on some other shit. They fake as fuck, fake as generic makeup. It's in they genetic makeup. I am him, they say with the flow. As above, so below. Sink or swim, 2 ways to go. Burn it down, we burn it all down. Burn it down, we burn it all down. Burn it down, we burn it all down. Burn it down, we burn it all down.
Finally, we are back at it. It is the second half of the Build and Destroy show. Of course, Wicked Meticulous, High Rise and May Dolly. What a great guest.
Man, that was some science dropped.
We need Pesha to come on and do the hosting more often.
I'll tell her we really like that.
Heck yeah. Well, with that being said, look, since we ran long on that, we're gonna rapid fire these topics, and we didn't even review them with each other like we normally do. Well, before we start with the topics that I had written down, May, do you have any hip hop underground stuff that people ain't heard about that we should know about?
Ooh. Underground, I guess semi-underground. AZ snuck one past. I know I brought up Action Bronson last time around, but I forgot to bring up AZ too. AZ? He's got a really solid thoroughbred joint in Some of them are even like updated, like remakes of the old stuff too.
Shout
like a
out to AZ.
continuation of the story.
Yeah, so the album's Do or Die 3. So that's
Do or
already
Die.
Yeah, Do or Die, my bad.
Is
DOE.
Nas, does he has a Nas verse, doesn't he?
Yeah.
That's cool.
He's got Jadakiss on there. I encourage anybody that loves rap to listen to that man's wordplay. You know, he's got one of the original templates for styles, that multisyllabic style.
Yeah, for real, for real. Yo,
Yeah.
and for old people, they was on Jimmy Fallon. Him and Nas, he brought Nas out. I think he did. I want to say he did 3 songs. I think he did, or not full songs, but you know, he did Life's a Bitch with Nas. He did something else, and then he did his new song with the Roots crew. Like what we talk about, that performing with your backing track, you can't do that with a band.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Do you think you're gonna go on Saturday Night Live or Jimmy Fallon or some shit like that with your tracks in the back? It ain't happening. All right, moving on. What's your reaction to the Drake album release? Drake 3 album release, I should say.
Still processing.
It's too much music to
It was
consume
like,
from one artist in 1 week.
But no, I think it's like 43 songs. So I've been listening on my own and just listening to people condense it just in a clip. Kind of a summary, I guess.
Okay. So you're still in process of going through it yourself.
Yeah, I haven't partaken yet. So.
Oh well, you know me. I mean, that's outside of my lane. You guys didn't put it on the docket for me to study, so I mean, I'm not gonna listen to it unless you guys say I need to.
Right.
I need to have an opinion. What I will say though is the 3 album drop to get yourself out of this deal after you sued your own record label. That pretty smart.
Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna just drop 3 at once. That just lets me know that he's at a stage as an artist, but we're also at a stage just in general as musician, as artists. That level of control. Normally that shit's got to go through, like they got to approve release dates and marketing schemes and whatnot. He did that shit himself. He paid for the rollout, the ice bricks, to light up the Toronto Tower. I don't know what it's called, but it's not the Space Needle. It's the Canadian Space Needle.
I would say the videos are well done. I went to his channel, and a lot of the songs do got videos, but as far as the visual, I like that side of it so far. Just how he's getting these angles of the city.
All right. Other hip hop news. Did y'all hear Lizzo? Well, not hip hop, but music. Did you hear Lizzo speaking about social media algorithm ruining the music industry?
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay, well, if you didn't hear about it, it ain't important.
What'd she say though?
Is it what we already know, or is it something like a new take?
Do you have a unique take on it?
Oh, no, not necessarily. I mean, she kind of was speaking on. So first, you got to give context. Lizzo's 38. So she's not a young spring chicken new artist. She has her accolades and whatnot, but she's really speaking to something that has been difficult for a lot of us to adapt to. I think if we're just talking of us 3 here, on the stream, Josh has done the best at adapting to the social media, and you're the oldest of us 3, which is crazy, real wild. You're the best at social media amongst us. But that's a real sore and difficult point, is trying to get on social media and do all these I mean, me and May talked about it yesterday. Having to do these 50,000 posts a day just to bring, awareness to you. And that was she was talking about the algorithm and social media impacting how her as an actual major label artist gets promoted, to where she's saying, they're looking at her shit like that too. The same as they look at new artists, like, what's your social media following? How can we capitalize on your following as a business? As opposed to, you're already in our network. There's no more to capitalize on. We know how much money you're going to make without us promoting. You have your fans. They know your album's coming out. They're going to buy it. You're not going to get no new fans. But her thing was, there's fans that are subscribed to me that they don't even know I have a new album coming out because of the algorithm is not allowing it to get to them. So, I mean, we've been talking about that shit forever.
Yeah,
you got to do 50,000 posts a day.
Yeah, that's crazy that her album wasn't being like promoted to her fans.
Well, it's still, I mean, I think I think it is also a smart marketing scheme on her behalf to start talking about it now, because technically the way that they roll albums out now is not far in advance like they used to back in the day. They're not doing the this whole anticipation that Drake's doing.
No.
People been waiting for him to drop some shit, and he played the rollout game. He paid money to do the shit. Even J. Cole paid money to do his rollout, rolling around in the fucking Honda Civic or whatever it is. Like, you're doing a rollout, but most of that shit is not 2 months before your album comes out. It's like 2 weeks. And her album don't drop till like June 28th. So her saying that her label isn't promoting it is probably correct. They're not going to start promoting it until like 3 weeks before your shit's about to drop. That's just where we're in the society. So I think, in part she's correct. It's a social media society. You can't fucking do a 2 or 3 month campaign unless you are Drake or Kanye or Michael Jackson or someone already big, to where people have been waiting for your product for a while already. So the 3 month campaign works in your benefit.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyone see the Kevin Hart roast?
I did not want to watch it, but then it got such a big reaction. I was like, maybe I should watch it. So I haven't yet, but kind of interested, because I think roasts are fucking corny as shit. Especially just all these people just roasting people they don't know. And you got people that aren't in the industry roasting, like, if it's an actor, it should be other actors roasting that person, not just like a room full of comedians just green, just trying to get some jokes on Netflix. I always thought it was corny. So I'm kind of relieved that the rest of the world is finally like, maybe we've had enough of this thing,
I like roasts when they're done properly. The problem with roasts nowadays is there's a group of writers that writes everybody's shit. Yeah. Even for the comedians that are on there, they're not even writing their own material to roast people with. And I think, unfortunately, with the current era, Jeff Ross being the roast master, I don't have no problem with Jeff Ross, because I think he's a roaster. But I think other people get on there. Other people right now, the roast arena is full of people that just want to get off racist jokes. Like, it's just factual.
Yeah.
And sometimes having a racy joke can be funny. But
racy.
Saying racist things isn't funny.
And like, who are these young, like, I just don't get, like, to me, a roast is more of like an honoring of somebody, and their peers are doing it. And they are using humor, and they are poking a little bit of fun, but it's also like a thing you achieve with respect, you know, like once you attain a certain level, almost it and yeah, it's like these new comedians, nobody really knows who they are. They are just little doofuses with racist jokes. And it's like, yeah, what are you doing roasting a basketball player or a musician? Or why are they even there? They shouldn't even be there. It just kind of cheapens the whole thing and makes it, really does make a roast whack. So it's more on the roast community for not regulating itself. Like, you let those little dorks in. We didn't write you letters saying let Tony Hinch whatever say these jokes about people he doesn't know. No, nobody wants that. So it's just like people like Jeff Ross or whatever trying to expand, trying to get too big, opening the door, no quality control, being like, maybe we'll get more viewers if we just let these little guys talk their shit. But it's just like, no.
I like that point of view. You know, to me it comes down to the roast as an event and roasting. The event of a roast should be roast, like you're just talking, you're just clowning. It shouldn't be like you're trying to say the most out of bounds shit on TV to get, you know, shock value. That's what it's turned into, is a shock type of culture, instead of just saying some funny ass shit that has everyone rolling. Like, that's a real roast. The Jamie Foxx Shaq roast, that's a real roast where people are rolling. Fucking, there's plenty of back and forth. Man, roasting is dope. And even All Def Digital, they took it to a whole nother level with, you know, Craig Fax, Kev on stage. He's from out here, and he's one of the biggest. But they really started from that All Def Digital, and one of their biggest things was the roast battles, the roast, what was it called, detention or something like that. But I like roasting, but watching a roast at this stage, unless Jamie Foxx is doing it, I can't really rock with it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we about down to the bottom of the list. What do you guys have to say about Ant Edwards dapping up the Spurs before the game was over?
So I just saw one headline. I didn't dive into it, but are people mad because that like was soft of him or something? I just what's the like controversy?
There was like 8 minutes left. It wasn't like it was close to over.
Okay.
It was a long time left in the game. He
so
it gave them that.
It showed, like,
he said he was giving them that because he knew he wasn't coming back in. But you give them that at the end of the game anyway.
Right. I get it. So they were losing, and they were just taking him out.
They were taking him out. I mean, he was hobbled. He wasn't 100%. He wasn't. Shouldn't even have came back, honestly, because he got hurt. That hyperextension looked bad, so he should have.
Did it look bad? Did, like, when it was going on, did it look bad, or did people make a big deal out of it afterwards?
No, he literally gave everyone on the Spurs dap, like, yo, good luck. I wish, man, you guys, you beat us. Like, yo, I wish you luck.
Was the series over? Was this the last game of the
It
series?
was, but there was 8 minutes left. Wait till the
Right.
game is over. Like, that's the
Yeah.
conversation. Like, the
Right.
game's not over. Your team,
Yeah.
your team might still have some belief in them, and they want to play.
I get it. Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of I'm sure if he could do it again, he would wait till the end.
I don't
I don't
think
think it's
so. The way he spoke about it in the press conference, he's like, no, like, he didn't care. Like, he didn't.
Yeah, but I bet he didn't realize it was a big deal. But like, I bet after a few days hearing about it again and again. But I don't know. Yeah, that is kind of like main character energy at a not needed time. Like, you're going out the game, go
No,
cheerlead.
I think what your first thought was the soft aspect. And I think this is the changing of the guard. Ant-Man was supposed to be the new face of the NBA. He said he didn't want to be. And now you got Wemby coming in. I mean, he's going to be the guy for as long as he don't get hurt. He's going to be the guy. And he wants it.
And he's yeah.
He wants it. He's like, yeah, I'm going to be the fucking face of the league. I'm going to come in here fucking looking like an alien and playing like an alien.
Yeah. I could see that, and he's international. You know, the NBA loves that. So he's going to have like this crazy big fan base.
They're saying he be reading all types of books and shit in the locker room that ain't no one heard of. Last offseason, he went to visit the monks. He's been doing crazy stretching and shit since he was hella young.
Oh, yeah,
so like,
yeah,
he's a yoga master.
Yeah.
Oh, it's over then.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely got them over OKC. Fuck OKC. Till Sonics come back, and then it's still fuck OKC.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess I got a couple more. Have you guys heard of this AP Swatch?
Yeah.
Collab.
Yeah.
What do you think about it?
That it's gonna have crazy resale value, just being something that's, I don't know, more accessible for people that don't have, excessive thousands to spend on a watch.
Well, I disagree for the same reason. I think it's not going to have the resale value, but it's being made because AP, there's not enough rich people to buy them anymore, and they realize it. They said we can't sell any more new watches because in order for us to sell a new watch, one of our current watch owners has to sell their watch to someone else.
Okay.
Like, the market has to be fluid. So the only way for them to even continue as a business is like, we gotta somehow, we can't lower our brand ourselves, but we're gonna do a partnership with a low, Swatch watches is like 150, 100 to 150. Like, they ain't expensive. But that's what I thought. It's just, this is a big luxury brand. This tells you how bad the economy really is the huge luxury brand is like, nah, we want to partner with the affordable brand to make something. When has a luxury brand ever gave a fuck about making some shit for the people? Affordable. These motherfuckers is running out of money. They know they ain't got nobody buying a fucking $250,000 watches no more. And everyone that has one is trying to sell it. I mean, it's whoever, the last person that talked about it, he said he took a big loss on his. I can't remember who it was. But he said, yeah, I sold it for a loss, but I'm going to go get fucking 100 of these, AP Swatch watches for $150 or however much they're selling for.
It reminds me of like when I think Gucci teamed up with like North Face, and then like Louis Vuitton did shit with Adidas. It reminds me of that. Like it won't be the actual Gucci, but it's enough to get the logo off and the decoration without feeling like you're rocking bootleg.
Yeah. All right. Well, last.
Yeah, I really can't think of a true luxury crossover into
affordable.
Yeah, I really can't because
it's an oxymoron. Luxury
even
means
the
it's
ones
not
I've
affordable.
seen, I'm thinking are probably like artist rendered. Like, yeah, I've seen some Louis Vuitton Nikes. I don't really think those are from Louis Vuitton.
Yeah.
They might even be real Louis Vuitton bag, but that's fucking Dapper Dan cut that up and sewed it up.
Yeah, you can buy Louis Vuitton fabric yourself. It's expensive.
Yeah, right.
It is
but yeah,
expensive.
like, yeah, I can't honestly think of like a car that, like a really nice car that went down and made something accessible. I really can't.
How do you feel about people saying they're a doctor, but they not like Dr. Dre, but a doctor, but they can't produce their transcript or diploma?
I don't like that.
Me neither. All right, last. I don't even want to get. I just wanted to ask you guys in general. I know you guys both probably know what the conversation currently is, but
yeah.
All right, we're gonna end it with the hyped up as the most anticipated women's fight in MMA history. Turns out to be a boo fest from a 17-second submission.
I did watch this actually.
It was 17 seconds.
It was very easy to watch.
20
times. Very
easy
to watch. They made that. That was for sure. I watched it. It was over before I realized it had started. I had to rewind. You know what I'm saying? I missed it the first time.
But did you expect like anything different? Because Gina Carano is like 45.
Yeah.
And even Ronda Rousey's up there. I think she's 39 or maybe even in her 40s.
Neither one of them are.
They're not spring chickens.
No. Different levels right there, though.
Yeah, May said that they was booing hell out on Jake Paul. Because he's the promoter. Well, I mean, what do you expect when you promote a senior citizen fight?
It's too bad. It kind of really shows how like it's crazy. There's no like, isn't there just like a weekly MMA or boxing or monthly thing that people look forward to? Is that community just so starved that they'll just watch anything every couple of months, no matter who's on the bill? Like, I remember growing up and like there was like Friday night fights, HBO had shit and Showtime had shit. I mean, not just the super duper big ones that maybe cost money, but just weekly ones, you know. And there was like USA, like boxing on USA. Like I would stay up and just watch good boxing. Is that not a thing anymore?
What I would say is I think the events are still out there, but the way that the internet has fractured everything, like you have to have a DAZN membership, you gotta have like, and everything, like, so the USA or the HBO or whoever, they would have contracts to get fucking Battle at the Boat at EQC. Like, don't nobody in New York know who none of these, I mean, we don't know who it is. We would only go because it's a fucking boxing match at EQC and maybe Cam gets us a discount ticket. I don't know.
Yeah, Cam, if you're listening.
but they would have those televised, and you're right. Anyone across the country would watch a boxing match. This is a professional boxing match. I don't know who these guys are, but shit, I know on Friday nights, basketball season, the games are sparse. We're at the end of the playoffs. There's going to be a straight drought for several months until football starts. This is the heat of the boxing season. It should be.
Yeah.
While baseball's in the middle of their season, and all the people that don't give a fuck about baseball, they want something to watch.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think as far as regular consumers, we're left out. But everyone that promotes boxing, they're still getting their money. They're figuring it out. So they're still having events. We just don't get to see them as the regular consumers to have Friday night fights. But I'm sure if you went on like all the different boxing, because there's like 7 different fucking boxing leagues now. WBC, WBL, WNBC.
Probably subscription based.
WBAD. All these fucking belts and leagues.
That's what the battle leagues turned into, the rap battle leagues. It's all subscription based model now. From Smack DVD era.
Yeah, so it makes it available for the people that are really into it and subscribe. But if you're not a subscriber, you don't hear about any of that. Like it's just not on your radar.
And if you want to like kind of be just like well-rounded and not zone in on any particular thing and not try to have like a bunch of subscriptions, it makes it hard to just dip in and dip out and keep abreast with like what's going on in these different worlds, because it's pay to watch them. And, I don't want a subscription just to watch a little bit of boxing and just to watch a little bit of battle rap and just to watch a little bit of Mariners and just to watch a little bit of movies and just to watch a different series over here. And I'm just trying to watch a little bit of this and that, and it's just to the point where it's like, fuck, fine. I guess I'll just watch like some free shit on YouTube, because
real, that just happened to me, yo. I did the free trial of YouTube TV just so I could watch basketball. Then I log in and it says, oh, well, tonight's basketball game's on Amazon Prime. It is normally on here, but tonight it's for the Prime. And like you said, like it's one subscription to pay for another one to get another one. They're all like flip-flopping on each other, like to their benefit. It's like exclusive Peacock.
Yeah.
Well,
So
this is the perfect thing now, our segue from our guest in the model of business. And capitalism is actually a choice. You have a choice to focus on the consumers and give them the best product and ease of access, or you have a choice to maximize your profits for your shareholders and the business operators. And that's to fucking fracture everything in 1,000 different pieces and make you pay for every fucking bite you take. You're paying per bite instead of just paying for the meal. Like, yo, let me just pay you to come to your restaurant and get the food. You want me to pay per bite. So, well, look, that was all I had on the agenda.
Right on.
For everyone that don't know, we are preparing for performance season. May is halfway through the month of May. But come June, we're hitting the stage at a venue near you on the Northwest coast.
June 5th, Rise and Shine Cabaret in Parkland on Garfield Street, all ages. 2 shows in Cali. Probably come back, do the at least Hilltop Street Fair, something, at least have our wearables and paintings and stuff. And maybe some more stuff, maybe a porch fest. Hopefully, I haven't seen the application yet. So
hey, we're gonna be ready for all that shit. We just did a rehearsal yesterday, motherfuckers.
Yeah, we take that set anywhere, boy.
I feel really good after yesterday. So, well, hey, we're going to end it with that. Well, May, can you give us some last words to close us out?
Yes, yes, yes. My peoples, protect yourself out there. Keep your aura up. Protect your aura. And make sure that what you do comes back to you. Make sure you remember that what you do comes back to you. So just conscious efforts, conscious thoughts, and decisions every day. Be deliberate with your shit.
Deliberate. Shout out to
Deliberate.
Titan 176 in the chat.
Otherwise,
holding
you will
it down.
Debilitate.
Yeah.
All right, y'all.
And
We'll be back. You already know. Every Sunday we gonna be here. We're gonna build up to a live Sunday show with some performances for you here coming up real soon too. So stay tuned. Let your folks know. We'll be back at it next week.